Hi, this is Thought Experiment with Anna London, and in this episode, we're going to be exploring interdimensional space and geometry. Okay, we're going to cover what I call the library of infinite dimensions. So again, the library of infinite dimensions. Okay, so let's set the scenario up. Imagine a vast ancient library known as the Library of Infinite Dimensions. Each room in this library represents a different dimension or universe. So here's how the experiment unfolds, okay? The first room is 3D space, okay? So imagine, right, you enter through a grand door into a room shaped like a perfect cube. Everything inside conforms to our familiar three-dimensional space. Objects have length, width, and height. You can walk around, stack books, and see the room's corners, okay? The second room is 4D space, okay? So you pass through another door into what would seem like a cube, but with an extra dimension. Here, objects have not just 3, but 4 spatial dimensions, right? Imagine books floating in ways that defy your understanding. They might twist or bend into shapes you can see, but cannot fully comprehend. You see shadows of 4D objects on 3D surfaces, much like how we see 3D objects casting shadows on 2D planes. You try to grasp a 4D book, but it feels like you're only touching parts of it at once. Okay, the third room is 5D and beyond. So each subsequent room adds another dimension. In the 5D room, the concept of space stretches beyond your comprehension. Objects might look like they're everywhere at once or nowhere at all from your perspective. Geometry here includes hypervolumes and shapes that exist in 5 dimensions, where lines curve back into themselves in ways unknown in lower dimensions. Okay, and let's talk about the infinite corridor. So you discover a corridor, okay, that seems to stretch infinitely, with doors on both sides, each leading to another dimension. And here, the rules of geometry stop applying. Distance, for instance. The concept of distance might become meaningless or infinitely variable. Walking in one direction might bring you back to where you started through some higher dimensional shortcut. And then angles and shapes, right? So triangles might have more than 180 degrees in some, or circles might not even exist as we know them, instead forming shapes that loop through dimensions. And then volume. Let's talk about volume, because volume could be infinite with finite boundaries or vice versa, challenging our notions of containment and capacity. Okay, and then let's talk about interdimensional observation, because as we move through these rooms, we carry a device that can project our 3D perspective into any dimension. We then would observe how lower dimensions interpret higher dimensional shapes. For example, a 3D sphere passing through a 2D plane would look like it's growing, right? And then a shrinking circle, right? So growing and shrinking circle. So imagine that, right, for a moment. You know, how beings or entities in higher dimensions might view us, right? Perhaps to them, we're like flat shadows moving through their world. And let's talk about reflection. Because finally we return to the first room pondering, how much of reality might we be missing due to our dimensional constraints? Could our understanding, our current understanding of physics like gravity or light be just a shadow of higher dimensional phenomena? What if our universe is merely one page in this vast library with countless other existing parallels? So this thought experiment stretches the imagination, okay, to consider how geometry and physics might operate in spaces with more dimensions than we naturally perceive, at least at the moment, right, with our current knowledge. And it invites us to question our understanding of the universe's structure and our place within it, right? So I thought this would be an interesting imaginary thought experiment concept to discover, right? And just kind of ponder and think through, again, exploring interdimensional space and geometry. So with that said, we'll conclude this episode, and I look forward to the next. So here's to the Library of Infinite Dimensions, right? Enjoy. I hope you're enjoying listening to these podcasts as I am speaking in them. And I look forward to inviting many of you on to kind of discuss in an open forum, maybe even an X Spaces, right? So look for me to start hosting X Spaces, because I just may transcend into those rooms, our thought experiments and talks of wonder and delight and exploration beyond our wildest dreams, okay? So with that said, this is Anna London with Thought Experiment signing out.